Hi, welcome to Virtual MOSI. My name is Chris, and today we are doing summer safety. Now, a lot of you who know me from other MOSI programs know that I am a paramedic. I worked for many years on the ambulance, so safety is something that I particularly have a big interest in. So first off, we're going to go for times that you should definitely call 911. Okay, if they have a change in vision or speech, chest pain, weakness on one side of the body, seizures, no breathing or a pulse, or unconscious and not responding to you, those are definitely times to call 911. But here in Florida, we have a lot of challenges here with our animals and our weather that don't necessarily need the paramedics, things that you yourself can do at home. So I'm going to teach you a little bit about it because we're now able to exit our houses a little bit more, enjoy parks and the beaches, but I want to make sure you do it safely so that we can still and continue. I don't want to ruin anyone's beach day. So, something that we have a lot of in Florida are bees. Bees typically are yellow and black, and they are fuzzy. When the bee comes around you, don't wave your arms and everything else. You're going to agitate the bee, and it's more likely going to sting you. I know it's natural. I want to do it too. But that's not how you do it. Just leave him alone, and he'll leave you alone. However, if you do get stung, this is what's going to do. So E.T. here is going to help me describe to you how, if you get stung by a bee, to do this. Now, bees, when they sting you, do leave the stinger in, which is indicated here by our little sewing pen. At the end of the stinger has a little reservoir of venom. Now, most people, when they get stung, first thing they want to do is grab it, squeeze, and pull. The problem is that little reservoir of venom, you grab it and squeeze it, you just pushed all that extra venom to the body. Now, most people are not allergic to bees, so it's just going to be really uncomfortable and not very pleasant and painful, but that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to take a credit card or any kind of hard plastic or paper like a business card that you can, and you take it and you simply scrape, and then it'll come out. That's how you get a bee sting out. Now, to distinguish between a bee and a wasp, if you get stung by a wasp, the stinger will not go and get stuck in your body. It can occasionally break off and get stuck. However, the big difference are wasps are not furry and hairy like the bees are, and the stinger won't stick in your body. So if you think you got stung, you might have. If you do happen to be allergic to it, that's when you would need to know. You would probably have an EpiPen. You would have been trained by your physician. Hornets are a subspecies of wasps, so all of those, they typically have much more smaller waist, much more bulgy. Same thing, don't wave your arms. Now, this is one that a lot of people in Florida notice. What is this? I'm sure you can see by the title. It's a stingray. There are a lot of species of stingrays. A lot of our stingrays like to bury themselves just underneath the sand or right on top, as you can see from my picture here. He buried himself just a little bit, so you can't really see him, which is why we do the stingray shuffle. Can anyone tell me how you do the stingray shuffle? We're going to see if any of y'all know. You should know. Now, this is one that gets a lot of tourists that come down to Florida, especially during spring break times. A lot of tourists come down, they don't know the stingray shuffle. So they get stung by the stingray. The tail comes up, the stinger, the barbs, they hit you. Depending on where they hit you and how much venom goes in you, there's really simple, easy treatment for this. You take a bucket and you fill it with as hot as water as you can possibly tolerate. And then you take that limb and stick it in the bucket. It really is that simple. So if you got stung on your calf, which is a very common place to get stung, because usually it's because you stepped on them. You just stick your leg, make sure that the puncture wound is inside the water, because as the venom goes up, you will actually see it up your veins going up, and you will see the coloration, and it burns and it hurts a lot. But what they actually injected is a protein. And the way that you can kill a protein is by heating it up. It denatures the protein, meaning it causes it to break apart. So basically you're killing the protein by heating it in hot water. And then the person after a while will be like, oh, I feel a whole lot better. And the water will start to cool. And they go, oh, it's coming back now. So you dump out some of the water, put some more hot water back in there. And you will actually see the venom receding down their veins as you do it. It can take up to an hour or so, but this is something that's very easy. Then you just clean the wound with soap and water. But you just need a bucket and some hot water. That's an easy one. Next thing we have a lot of in Florida is snakes. Now, this is a water moccasin. It is one of the 6 venomous snakes that we have in Florida. Does anybody know how many venomous snakes there are in the U.S.? Florida has 6 of them, which unfortunately we have a whole lot more than other states. But we have 6. Now, if you are out and about and you get bitten by a snake, often they're not venomous. There's a lot of garden snakes and black racers in your yard. I have them in my yard. They're everywhere. They come in your house. They do. They get in through your pipes. But if you get stung or you get bitten and you think it is something poisonous, you can track the poison. But if you do need to go to the hospital and get some anti-venom, then they would need to know what kind of snake you got bitten by. Because there's not a universal. But we don't want you going and catching these snakes. Because someone already got bit, let's not have another person bit. So what does everyone have in their pocket? A phone. Take your phone, snap a picture from far away, zoom in, snap a picture of the snake, and then you can come, and when you go to the hospital, be like, look, this is what the snake looks like. Then they can identify it and give the proper anti-venom. But the best way is to not go wading through the water areas and low areas that are brush. Now, heat. Our beautiful Skyway Bridge. Heat, something that Florida has a ton of. We've had several days this past few weeks that the heat index was up to 110, which is crazy. That's really hot. You go outside for 2 minutes and you're like, oh, I'm done. So you need to make sure that you drink plenty of fluids. Water is best. You don't need to jump straight to the Gatorade and the Powerade or the electrolyte drinks. Water is best. Just plain water, room temperature or cool. You don't want cold. So if someone is like, oh my God, I think I'm gonna pass out, I feel really weak. Don't give them an ice cold bottle of water that you just, yanked from the freezer. Cool water is best. You give them cold water, goes in the stomach, shocks the system, because there's a wonderful cranial nerve that does the vagus nerve, which helps control your heartbeat. You stimulate that nerve, your heartbeat can slow down. Heartbeat slows down, you may pass out. That's not a good thing. So, regular cool water inside. We have air conditioning everywhere here. Outside of the heat, in the shade, if you can't go inside. Water, a simple snack. Heat stroke is the extreme. It's when you stop sweating. So as long as you're still sweating, you have not reached really critical. So you're still at heat exhaustion. So you do not want to hit heat stroke by waiting that long. So as long as you're still sweating, you still have fluids. Just keep drinking that water. And our final summer safety tip is drowning. This is really big in Florida. Unfortunately, drowning is a very silent killer. Typically, we'll have kids playing in the pool, or even just one kid. An adult is out there watching. But that adult is often reading a book, playing on their phone, playing some game, or surfing the internet, on social media. And contrary to what a lot of people think, kids who are drowning don't typically go, I'm drowning, I'm drowning. No, they just slip quietly, and then you find them on the ground in the bottom of the pool. So it's important to have proper supervision where you're watching the kids at all times. And then you may need to take them out, do CPR. You would definitely need to call 911. This weekend is 4th of July weekend. We just had Canada Day. That means a lot of fireworks. So if you tune in with me tomorrow, I will teach you a little bit about the science behind fireworks and some safe alternatives you can do with your family as opposed to setting off fireworks. But tune in tomorrow and you will get a lesson about the safety of fireworks, but also the science and how the fireworks are created and alternatives that you can do. And if anybody didn't know, there are 8 types of venomous snakes in the U.S. Florida has 6. So I'll see you tomorrow.